Hello everyone, thanks for joining me for another video. We're going to try something different for a few videos. I've run through all my collection of vinyl, from which anyone who's stuck with that will pretty much know what my musical tastes are, but they don't sort of deal with everything, because obviously what I've got on CD is is very much different really to what I've got on vinyl, and so there are artists there that I listen to quite a bit, but I don't necessarily have much or any vinyl of. And what I thought I'd like to do is to sort of share with you my musical taste, if you like, and the music that's been important to me, that I've enjoyed over the years, going right back into my teens up until now. And I thought I'd do it alphabetically, so it might run to well, theoretically at least 26 videos, but I think looking at the section for B, we've probably got about 12 videos on B alone, but I won't make them that long. But what I would like to do is just play you a few tracks as well that I like. So so these videos will be more just me sharing music that I like, and it will cover all sorts of genres. There's going to definitely be some pop stuff in there. Probably won't be any classical as such. But there'll be all sorts in there, and as I say, it's music that kind of, to me personally, means quite a lot to me. There's loads of bands that I've listed down that, yes, I like their music or I love their music, but they're not quite in that same category. That it's almost like a Desert Island Discs thing, really, but you know, with 1,000 instead of 10 to choose from. How somebody chooses 10 records for their Desert Island Discs, I do not know. So anyway, again, it's a complete vanity project, insofar as, you know, if I was somebody famous or somebody you know, sort of people wanted to hear from, people were interested in their opinions, then this might make something worth watching. But as it is, and as I've got sort of well over 2,000 subscribers now, I thought some of you might be interested to at least listen to some tracks that I like. You might be surprised, and you probably hate quite a lot of them actually, which is fine, it's fair enough. But some of them might need a little bit of explaining as to why I like it, because it might seem completely naff to start with, but and some of it will be quite predictable. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. If we get nobody interested, then obviously these will just die a death, and we won't carry on with it. But so on A, really A is quite simple for me. I mean, I'm not going to go down Arctic Monkeys route. All we've got basically for A is Asia, Jon Anderson solo, AC/DC, Abwh, which is kind of yes, but some of the Abwh music that they did I love, and as a surprising one, Altered Images. So yeah, so I'm going to play you a little bit of music from each of those artists. So most of you will already want to switch off now, but anyway, for those of you keen to hear what I've chosen and why I like it, then here we go. Okay, so the first band I'm going to talk about is Asia, a band much derided and sneered at by the cognoscenti, but when they formed back in 81, 82, their debut album was not a breath of fresh air, but it was certainly an interesting and well-crafted album, and it really showed the band members at their strength, really. I mean, it's driven largely by Steve Howe, I think, very much guitar orientated, but the songwriting very simple, and yeah, basically very, very strong songs, very strong melodies, great playing, unchallenging music, which is where they came to grief on a lot of the criticism that they received. And it isn't challenging music, but it's pleasant music, and it's effective music, and it is quality music of its type. So if you're going to put it into the genre of sort of AOR type groups, then they're probably pretty much towards the top of that group. So I think special mention needs to be made for John Wetton, who wrote or co-wrote much of Aisha's best material, and coming off bands like UK and Crimson, he really seemed to find his element with Aisha, writing very tight, if predictable, pop songs, really, which the band then put to sort of a rocky style, rock style, but keeping it very listenable and very melodic. So yes, not progressive rock by any chance, by any means, sorry. But anyway, they were a band I liked, and what we're going to listen to, what I'm going to play, I mean, really the first two albums were excellent, and obviously thereafter they had multiple lineup changes, and then the original lineup reformed. I can't remember exactly when that was, but they then did, I think it was 3 albums with the original lineup, 3 new studio albums. The third of those is the album I'm going to play a track from, which is called Triple X, XXX, and it was a great Roger Dean sleeve, much more effective on the record, on the vinyl, and again very tight, very melodic, very memorable, catchy AOR pop music, really. But when you know you've got quality musicians, it's it makes it all the better, really. Very well produced album, and the track I really liked off it is a track called Ghost of a Chance, and so that's what I'm going to play. It's only about 4 minutes long, but I think it contains within it all the little elements of Aisha that I think are wonderful. So I hope you enjoy it. This is Ghost of a Chance by Aisha.
Hold on tight, fight it tooth and nail. You are right, you just cannot fail. Seek to change your circumstance while there's a ghost of a chance. Ride your luck, opportunity. What you see, that's your destiny. Grasp it now, take your stance. Well, there's a ghost of a chance.
Okay, next up I want to talk about Abwh. This was a band formed from the sort of demise of Yes in the late 80s. So after Yes recorded Big Generator in 1987, they finished the tour in 88. Jon Anderson felt he needed to recover his musical roots and reformed with Steve Howe, Rick Wakeman and Bill Bruford. They then did the Abwh album, which was truly fantastic. It was just a wonderful, uplifting, spiritual, pastoral album, completely in contrast with what they'd done throughout the last sort of 5 years or so with Yes, or what Anderson had been doing with Yes. So for him it was a complete volte-face. This was the music that he really wanted to do. Yes, he would have enjoyed the 80s and enjoyed the money that came from the music they did in the 80s, but this was his going back to his musical roots. And the album itself is full of references to music as a sort of salvation, really, with sort of also references to sort of divinity, really, because Jon Anderson often plays with our head in terms of, is he singing about music, is he singing about his dearest loved one, or is he singing about God? So he gets this spiritual attachment to these things, and it's often quite ambiguous. What isn't ambiguous in the Abwh album is all the references to the Yes tracks from the past. So it's absolutely full of them, and it's a joy to hear them being referenced, having sort of gone through what we did go through in the 80s with Yes, and of course with Big Generator they didn't tour over here, so we never saw them live. So yeah, it's a great album. It was a great tour as well. Everybody really being positive, good vibes, everybody seeming to get on with each other and enjoying themselves. Now, I could have chosen any number of tracks off the album to play. I think the intro to Order of the Universe itself is worth the cost of the album, but unfortunately the rest of the track doesn't quite gel with me quite so well. I don't think Bruford does heavy rock very comfortably, and not the ultimately, as a result of that, I don't think it's the best track on the album, but the intro is just beautiful. So instead of playing that, I'm going to play you Quartet, which is 4 very small songs joined together into one track. It's about 9 minutes long in total, and I think it encompasses within this relatively quiet track all the sort of elements of kind of what make Yes so special. You know, the sort of touching on the heartstrings, and then being uplifting and jolliness, and not profound lyrics, but meaningful lyrics that you can sort of grab a hold of, and yeah, they can mean something to you. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is Quartet by Abwh from 1989.
Spoke in quite a while, and all of the dreams that come true
surprising how it catches you. I wanna learn more about me. I've been sinking like a set in stone, and now the dreams are realizing it's true. That's why I wanna learn about you. I wanna know more about life and things that can fly in between my mind. I wanna change all that I dream about, my waking and my so many lives. Oh my, I wanna learn more about you. We haven't spoken in quite a while. Just let me come through. I'll give you my heart, my life for life. Give me love when love had gone away, when the pressure came so fast. She gave me love, long distance, run around, and in between the pressure I was summoned. How did we dance on the south side of the sky? We saw the flags flying on the moon, through the gates of in the light was a beginning, only to believe in you, only to believe in you. She gave me love when I was losing fast. I was awakened by the dream. She was a love for me, the first and last. And all that I remembered was the roundabout, only to believe in you. Only to believe in you. Who was the first to show the moon at night is never so far away? We are the first to define the languages of love. Who was the first to learn the universal consciousness divine? We are the first to discover this day in our time. And when the history of science rewrites itself each day, we're living in days of wonder, Simon said. So wonderful, true believer, so wonderful I'm alive. Just take this world of life each day at a time. So of this universal combination of the word, I'll try so hard to fulfill my belief. Take me, I'ma love you, I'ma love you, no change in my mind. I'll walk with you to the ends of the earth. someone broke into your life, how we hurt to never show it. Come into my world, hold me in your arms. There's a mystery to the touch, how it heals so when we're broken. I believe that all the fear you've had can gently fly away. We experience, we hold together, lost in one embrace. We will love forever, this eternity, for in this love I'm alive, I'm alive. Only when you spoke did I realize how you understand this life, how you help me with your eyesight. Only when we touched did it all come through, how you understand my life, how you help me with your light, how you help me with your light.
Okay, so we're now going to listen to a track by Altered Images. They were a pop band. I think they lasted for about 3 years, between I think 81 to 83. That's for a period, early 80s pop music. Now, the reason I like Altered Images is various reasons really. They were so ashamedly poppy with their songs such as Happy Birthday and I Could Be Happy. There seemed to be a kind of complete lack of what should we say, inhibition or reticence really. It's just saying this is what we are, this is what we're singing, this is what we do. And I didn't particularly like those tracks. But when you see them being performed, the band to me have a bit more about them than some of the pop bands of that era and that period. So good musicians playing the stuff seriously, not sort of posing or larking about. And of course the band is fronted by the wonderful Claire Grogan, who even up to a few years ago was still performing these songs live on stage. And mesmerising the crowd. She's so watchable and she's got a great voice. I've always thought she's like sort of Kylie Minogue's voice after she's played with the Chemistry Set for an hour. It's with Claire Grogan kind of thing. So I think that she is fantastic to listen to. I love her voice and I love to see her perform the music. If you see it, look to any of the sort of studio live sessions that she did in the early days or even in the later days. They're eminently watchable. So I think, as I say, they only made about 3 albums before it sort of dissipated and everybody went their own way. And obviously, apart from the acting career that she had, I think she largely sort of went on her own sort of private life. But Martin Rushent was the producer for the first album or two. I think he was producing most of the bands then, Human League and that sort of thing. And they definitely had a kind of new wavy kind of approach and sound, although the tunes were very poppy. But the song I'm going to play was from the third album, which was co-produced by Tony Visconti and Mike Chapman. Now Mike Chapman was famously turned Blondie's career from them being a sort of new wave pop band in America to world beating massive group that they were with Parallel Lines. No, he didn't do quite the same with Altered Images, but I think this one track did work to their favour with their better production, and it's just a beautiful pop single. So this is Altered Images with Don't Talk to Me About Love. Okay, so we're going to finish our exploration of the letter A in the only way I possibly could do, being a Yes fan and really a lover of everything this man's ever done music wise, and that's Jon Anderson. And obviously there's a massive catalogue of music to choose from if we're going to try and give you an example of Jon Anderson's music. Where do you start, really? Well, I immediately knew where I was going to start and where I was going to finish, and that is the Elias of Sun Hello album. And you could say that it's his first solo album, and so does it mean that everything he's done since then has been not as good? I would definitely not say that at all. He's done a lot of brilliant music, but I think with Elias, mid 70s, 75, 76 I think it got released, he was at his absolute height of his power. He was in charge of pretty much everything, and on the album he's completely in charge. He plays most of the instruments, he's directing it, and he's sort of he's doing it all basically, and this is all his own work. And what I think it shows, as well as his fantastic voice, but his ability to instrumentalize music that he hears in his head, and get it actually out there in the way that he hears in his head. And I think in this album he had no conflicting forces, no other people's views with wanting different things, and so he had full control, and this is what I would say is pure Jon Anderson. So I don't know how you would necessarily describe or define the album as such. It's just a journey through the mind of Jon Anderson, but it's also a journey through your own mind as you're listening to it. I mean, we can now play it on a single disc from start to finish, which is fantastic, but obviously when we had the album we were playing it side 1, side 2, and so you always had that thing in your head. You've got 20 minutes where you just had to shut everything else out, turn the lights off preferably, or close your eyes, turn the volume up, and you were just away. You were just away in Jon Anderson's land. And I think lyrically it's wonderful. It tells a story, but it's not a narrative really. It's just Jon's way of telling a story of a group that were flying off from a planet in search of another planet, but it also, to me, exemplifies his classical roots, if you like, his classical yearnings. There's so much on the album that is sort of classically based, if you like, in terms of structure and form. I was going to play the very last track, which is called To the Runner, because it's a shortish track. And it is a very good example of that, insofar as there's a coda at the end which is just beautiful, and you've come down from this massive listen and it just tells it off beautifully. It follows on from the best work he did on Topographic, in my view, and it was just a sort of magic way of ending the album, and it's how the classical composers would have done it. And Sibelius, Stravinsky, Beethoven, they had ways of, didn't finish the symphony or concerto, whatever it was. There was a way of doing it, and it brought you back down to earth in a way. But instead of playing that track, I'm going to play the one before it, which is 13 minutes long, and it is, I suppose, the epic of the album, although it's kind of 3 separate songs, sort of, which they made into one song for the CD. So it's called Moon Ra, Chords and Song of Search, and it's all made into one epic track. And if you want an example of where Jon Anderson was at in 1975, then this is as good as anything you'll ever hear. And so I hope you enjoy it. As I say, it's 13 minutes, and this concludes letter A in our look at the music that I like. So thanks for watching if you're still with me, and here we go. Jon Anderson from Elias of Sun Hello.